What's in your city? In this video, I'll show a simple little tool that will help solve that question. So when you're running your adventures and the players walk into a village or a city, you'll know what actually is there, what kind of services they can have. I'll show you where I got the methods and the numbers and the stats, and we'll talk a little bit about the process of generating cities and villages. This is a little application I put together, and I'm going to show you what it does. So let's enter the name of some city. Let's call it the Wild Grove. And we're going to give it a population of about 1,215. And Wild Grove obviously is in the wine country, and it's alongside a river, and it's in a forest or woodlands. So we're going to click generate, and it's going to ask me where do I want to put it, and I'm going to put wildgrove.txt right here. We're going to save that, and it says Wild Grove generated. So if I pull up my output, now I can just double click this and it'll show me services available for Wild Grove. Population 215. It's a small town situated in wine country in a forest or woodland. It's along a river, and it's approximately, this is square miles in area, block. So you can see what it has in here. Now then, we'll talk about where and how I got this little application. So this is the output. So if you're interested, there'll be a link below where you can get the application, and you can play with it and see what you like. I'm also going to provide the source code. Back in 1996, TSR published a book called The World Builder's Guidebook. It was written by, let me get the name right, Richard Baker. And he outlined some interesting statistics about how to generate an entire world and a whole bunch of things like that. But he also generated a table showing you how to populate a city with what kind of services are in there. Now, this was written back in 1996, and someone named let me pull the name up. John Reese in 1999 took those stats and wrote a little C program that goes through and asks you a series of questions about the name of the city and or the town and uses those numbers for the statistics. I showed the Excel spreadsheet, which gives you the stats from that book. This is a spreadsheet, which I'm also going to provide a link to, which is the data from the World Building Guide. It shows you the various descriptions. You get food and services, common crafts and trades, rare crafts and trades, transportation, and non-player services. Non-player character services. And this is the probability that he listed in the article and what kind of dice. And you'll notice that there are a couple of modifications, like for example, a grocer, I only listed the percentage for the normal, but that there's a different percentage if you're in agricultural. And so these are the modifications that are included in the article. The asterisk, if it's a no, that means that it's possibly a major service, a major form of income for that area. But this is the services that were listed in the world building article. So down in the description, I'm going to have links to the original C program that was written by John Reese, and I'll have a link to the executable for my conversion of that, and I converted it to C#.net and using WPF, but that's the technical details that I'm not going to go into in this video. And it just lets you put in the parameters that the John Reese's application asks for. And I also will have a link to the full source code, and I unit tested this to make sure it generates exactly the same results that I got when I converted the John Reese's program to run under the Visual Studio, which is minor little changes to get it to run under Visual Studio 2013. But it provides you some tools to tell you what kind of services that you will see inside a city or village, and it's scaled up and it handles large cities or small cities or down to villages. There are special rules to handle smaller villages and let you come up with what kind of services are in the village. So this one, combined with the NPC generator that I have, sort of gives you some hints about how you could create a city or a village fairly quickly. This will help you find what's in a city, and I'd love to hear what you've done with some of this. I'm going to be continuing on showing some of the work I've done about building a city out or building a village out, and I'll be showing some of that in future videos. And if you want, I can go into the technical details, but the source code is there, and if you have questions, you can ask me about those. But this was a interesting little thing about taking the city services. The code is a little bit not well structured by today's standards. It's very hard-coded, but that's part of the table, is that it doesn't support easily editing and so on, and I'll talk perhaps about that in some future video about an alternative approach. But this gets you the first pass. You can actually use the numbers from Excel to generate it if you want to automate Excel and use Excel instead of the little program that I created. But this was just an interesting exercise to show you how to create what services are in the city, so that I encourage you to use more city adventures.